welcome to this edition of In Focus. I'm Rukma with you. And today we will be discussing about the announcement made by the central government on the 15th of September, when it approved the production-linked incentive plan for drones and drone components. The PLI scheme comes as a follow-through of the liberalized drone rules released. Due to the new rules and incentive scheme, the drones and drone components manufacturing industry may see investments of over 5,000 crore rupees over the next 3 years. The annual sales turnover of the drone manufacturing industry may grow from INR 60 crores in 2020 to 21 to over 900 crore rupees in fiscal year 2023 to 24. The drone manufacturing industry is expected to generate over 10,000 direct jobs over the next 3 years. What are the implications of the new PLI scheme? How plausible is the target of making India a drone hub by 2030? Also, an in-depth look at drones for rural areas. These and other issues we will discuss over the next 1 hour in our show today with our distinguished panel of guests. Joining us are Rajan Luthra, Chair, FICCI Drones Committee. Also, Nagendan Kandasamy, CEO, Throttle Aerospace Systems Private Limited. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Minal Pai of co-founder Skylark Drones, Swapnik Jakampudi, co-founder Sky Air Mobility. A very warm welcome to all our guests on the show. First of all, coming to you, Mr. Luthra, as a member, as the chair of the FICCI Drones Committee, how do you look at this announcement? What would you say are the objectives of the new PLI scheme?
The PLI scheme announced on the 15th September really is a second important milestone within the journey of the drone sector. The first one obviously was on 25th August when the drone rules 2021 were published. And the drone rules have made life extremely simple for all the stakeholders of the drone sector, be it the manufacturers, the startups, the innovators, the people who are involved in all aspects of the usage of drones. But the PLI scheme is specifically targeted at the drone manufacturers, the drone component manufacturers, and even the service providers who stand to gain a significant benefit by their value addition for the drone sector. This has already been announced for multiple other sectors, and at FICCI we had made a special request as part of the drone working group a few months back, and now the scheme has been announced with a very significant benefit of 20% of the value addition. As an industry body, we heartily welcome this move, and we believe this will really provide a launch pad to the drone sector in India.
Right. Well, as the founder of a company, as the CEO of a company that makes perhaps drones and is involved in the manufacturing, Mr. Kandasamy, how do you look at this announcement of the government?
I can say the PLI scheme for drone is paradigm shift, and this is tailored in such a way considering the special interest to this industry, and it is totally different from any other PLI scheme. And this actually brings a lot of motivation to the manufacturer to do everything locally in India, and also this will actually reduce the requirement of imports, and also it's increases the bottom line of the company. It's very welcome move, and this is tailored in a very good way. All the factors, the core elements of this PLI scheme. Well designed, I can tell, keeping the industry still in a very nascent stage, and also it got all the possibility to become a next IT or telecom sector. So keeping in that mind, they have framed it very good.
Right. Well, very good scheme as far as as far as you say, Mr. Kandasamy. Mr. Swapnik, when we talk about the kind of figures that have been projected for the drone manufacturing industry about how India can become a drone manufacturing hub, a drone hub by 2030, how much easier do those targets become as a result of this PLI scheme that has been announced?
Yeah, so thanks for having me on. Definitely, I think as mentioned by the other panelists, this is the second stage, second point where we have got a very big boost from the central government thanks to the Honorable Prime Minister. If you see, right, there is the first wave, the new rules that got released, it created a lot of demand in the market. Now we have to be able to supply to that demand because a lot of players, like drone service providers like us, will have a lot more projects and use cases that come up. So we need components, and local manufacturing is very key and very crucial for us. And as for the local economy in the domestic market, domestic economy is also very key. So the more the number of demand that has been created, if you're able to supply it locally from here in India itself, it can be game changer, right? And once we become the hub and we're able to cater to our own demand with the quality that we need, we should be able to easily export it out to the international world. So it's a very exciting time, and exciting for the partners that we will be working with, manufacturing partners who supply components for us. This is a very exciting time for us.
Right. Coming to you, Mr. Mrinal, you're the co-founder of Skylark Drones. As we just heard in the course of a conversation, the drone manufacturing industry is quite new. It's still in its nascent stages as far as India is concerned. But when we look at the PLI scheme, how far would you say it would take a company like yours, especially as it is a follow-through of the key drone rules that were introduced just about a month ago?
Sure. Like you mentioned, the drone industry in India across manufacturers, service providers is quite in its nascency. The fact is that the most of the hardware available today for drones in India, 90% of it are imported, be it components, be it assembled drones, and given that the government also recognizes that there is a large services industry coming up, like you had earlier mentioned, there's projected to be 10,000 jobs, direct jobs that are estimated to be created in the next 3 years from drone manufacturing, but the government also estimates 5 lakh jobs coming out of the services industry, right? And in the commercial sector, that while we see there are 3 large markets of drones, there is the consumer drones, which have been going from the last 5-6 years, and there is a defense drone, which as of today is the largest market and continues to grow, and then there is a commercial enterprise drones, where drones are used for agriculture, mining, construction, and that is expected to be the largest of them all, and given that the demand is just starting to build up here, and the good part of the PLI scheme, while it covers drone manufacturers, it also covers drone component manufacturers, which I think is essential, because to grow the Indian domestic manufacturer, it's important to also allow for the growth of the component ecosystem. And also, since there is a large, there is a 10-fold, 20-fold larger services market that's estimated, and a lot of services delivery happens via software and drone-related IT products that's coming up, and the scheme covers even the IT product providers, right? So I think the scheme being holistic is for the industry. I think it's great for the industry and a much needed boost, given that it's a follow-up within less than a month from when the liberalized rules have come up. Is a great move for the industry.
Right. Mr. Luthra, we believe that due to the new rules, it's being said that due to the new rules and incentive scheme, the drones and drone components manufacturing industry may see an investment of over 5,000 crore rupees over the next 3 years. How plausible would you say that is? And when we talk about investment, what kind of investment are we talking about? And how do you see this process working out? What kind of drones are we talking about here?
5,000 crores amount is an estimated figure that has been put together based on feedback from the market, from the manufacturers, and even looking at the overall market potential. As part of the drone working group that I mentioned earlier, under the SCALE committee, we had estimated a cumulative market potential in India for drone sector for about 3 lakh crores, which is about $40 billion in the next 8-9 years. Out of that, we believe this is a smaller immediate opportunity, which has been estimated in the next 3 years. Largely, this will come from the existing startups and the existing manufacturers who are targeting the commercial sector. There will be a lot of potential even in the social or societal impact sectors like agriculture, medicines from the sky, or even the rural development or rural, let's say, property rights as property cards that are being distributed. We also have the defense sector, where a lot of large players are already manufacturing for Indian requirements as well as global requirements. So the investment will be holistically covering all these areas in the next 3 years as we estimate.
Right, we'll be back to our discussion on drones and the PLI incentive scheme announced by the government on the 15th of September. That's just a few days ago, 1 month after the key drone rules were announced in August. And we'll be back to this discussion in Focus, but now it's time for a short break. Stay tuned and keep watching DD India.
With the world's largest COVID vaccination drive, India is leading the way. As the vaccine reaches every corner of the nation, do not forget the mantra, Dawai bhi, Kadai bhi. Let's continue our fight against COVID-19. Vaccination along with social distancing, sanitization and masks.
Mask up, India!
Put your mask on and cover your nose and be safe.
Mask Up India.
Welcome back to the show, and we are talking about the PLI scheme for drones and drone components. And going back to our discussion, to our guests on the show, Mr. Kandasamy, when we talk about an estimated target, an estimated goal of an investment of 5,000 crore rupees for a company like yours, what would this mean? Who are the investors that you would be targeting? Is there that big a market for drones already in India, or what basically are we talking about here?
See, when it comes to the drone technology, it's through its various segments and the various industry it is capable of adding a values. However, the entry barrier for something is basically the regulation. Now, after the 25th August, the policy liberalization, the lot of new hopes are happening. And when it comes to investment, the investors now see there is a lot of confidence as a business model and the growth in a various sector, especially a country like India having various key geographies and considering our various vast and diverse, there are a lot of values that drone can add, especially like a remote village, medicine supplies, agriculture, defense, land formats. We can go on and on. And now the opportunities are endless. The rule and the mindset, everything is changed, and which is going to create a confidence basically among various. Whether it is a VCs or PEs, and we could see there are a lot of inquiries which is increased. It can be a leads as well as the discussion on the investment, and probably a company like us where we are in the very early growth with proper investment, we can scale it, and also we can change our pitch to global.
Right. Well, Mr. Well, coming to you, Mr. Mrinal Pai, when we talk about the targets, the kind of goals in terms of rupees and crores of rupees of investment, what would a company like yours be hoping for? What would a company like yours be doing to invite this kind of investment?
Right. I think when it comes to the scheme, the numbers in terms of the qualification criteria to be eligible, as well as the outlay, I think it makes sense. Around 120 crores in outlay, given that 60 crores is the cumulative turnover of all the manufacturers. I think it's a great move. It's a show of strength and confidence that the ministry is showing in the industry. When it comes to Skylark, I think we are one of many ecosystem providers who are working with different business models here. We believe that most of the growth will be seen in the commercial sector, where there are endless possibilities and use cases, largely being already validated in the global market as well as Indian market. Regulation is the biggest bottleneck. Most of the top players in the industry, which beneficial industries, it could be agriculture, could be mining, infrastructure, all of them over the last 4-5 years have kind of experimented with drones. They know what the value it brings in. They know the efficiency it unlocks in terms of what drones can do to help them manage their physical assets. So I think that is already established, and given that the regulations have opened up a month ago, now we've already seen a spike in terms of usage and demand that's coming up, and given that, we believe that there are multiple business models possible. It could be directly manufacturing of the components and the hardware, or someone like us as Skylark, who are building a software stack in which we're connecting the drones on one side and we're delivering data-based insights to these industries on the other hand. So I think which also probably can scale outside of India, given that we're a software provider. I think all of these kind of models will come up. There is also avenue for drone pilot training schools, avenue for traffic management system that can come out. There is value for logistics providers, service providers, software can come out. So there is a whole wide variety of models and players that we believe will emerge, and I think we will see investment across different kind of players in the next couple of years at least.
And Mr. Swapnik, when we talk about, if we say that we are expecting that the drone manufacturing industry, the annual sales turnover is expected to grow manifold from 60 crore rupees to 900 crore rupees in just 2023 to 24. How would you react to such a statement?
Probably excitement and to be part of this journey at this stage. Seeing we have been working for almost 2.5 to 3 years now on this, and to see at this stage where the demand has picked up and we are actually able to see it happen. We're actually seeing a lot more interest from a lot of clients that already picked up in the past 1 month, who are reaching out to us to understand what kind of services we can provide them and where we can help them. So we are currently doing trials for the Telangana government, and we are collecting more data and publishing reports soon. So when people are saying those numbers, I think it's definitely very possible, and we are ready for that and very excited for it.
Right. Mr. Rajan, coming to you, the industry is expected to generate over 10,000 direct jobs over the next 3 years itself. What are the kind of jobs that we are looking at?
Already we discussed about the opportunity for drone pilots. Trained and certified drone pilots is obviously the biggest direct opportunity, which are, let's say, there are multiple institutions which will be providing the training and then the certification of becoming a drone pilot. This is something which just requires a simple matriculation certificate, and after that you can take up the job of a drone pilot. Beyond that, there are multiple other aspects of in all the manufacturing companies and all the startups and the service providers. There will be direct jobs related to manufacturing and even related to hardware and software production. Beyond that, even on the end user side, the end users as well as the data or the visual imagery that will be generated, there will be a lot of opportunities even for leveraging artificial intelligence, leveraging, let's say, getting insights or intelligence from all the data that is gathered. So both in terms of blue-collared as well as white-collared jobs will get generated. These are the direct jobs. And indirectly, I think the whole ecosystem as it develops, you will start seeing a lot of service providers, right, from the hundreds of thousands of photographers who will be covering various events all over the country. And using drones, they will be able to do a much better job at and doing it with the proper legal authority and the mandate to be able to conduct those kind of services. In future, we will also see the usage of drones in the supply chain or the logistics side, and where you will have the opportunity even in remote areas for people to be employed. When the delivery using drones is there, then you will have the back-end infrastructure that will need to be supported as well. So it's a wide variety of job opportunities that will open up for the sector.
Right, Mr. Kandasamy, when we talk, as Mr. Luthra has said, drone pilots. How far are drone pilots available? What kind of employment opportunities further? Would you say that Indian youth, that the Indian population are prepared for when it comes to the drone manufacturing sector?
All right. As we see, there's a tremendous opportunity in the various sectors like agriculture, mining, even recreational purpose. The drone pilot will be the largest among any other job opportunities. And we have now BBC approved school. This network also increasing. The people can go and take a course at a very, very affordable cost, and probably after that training they'll get the certification as well as the remote pilot ID number. With that, they can actually go out to the market and they can you can service well. And top of that, there are a lot of manufacturing as a drone manufacturer, and there are going to be a lot of component manufacturer, as well as few companies are focusing on the software side. So there will be indirect lot of job opportunities. And as we see, there are a lot of curriculum schemes where they are adapting drone as an elective, as well as there are few courses. They are keeping the drone as a core level, as a master's. This is something which shows that people will, after their degree, they will be able to take a job in this among these upcoming sectors.
And in terms of, Mr. Swapnik, in terms of reaching out to remote and inaccessible areas, drones are believed to have very great benefits. Would you agree with that?
Yes, definitely. I think if you see the use case that you can talk about in Northeast India, right? So if your access to medical infrastructure is very limited, like your cold chain, vaccines, or blood, or any anti-venom is very limited. And if you are in a part of the country where if there are any flash floods or adverse weather conditions and the roads are cut off, and you need immediate access to any of these medical facilities or medicines or vaccines, drones can definitely provide that, because you don't need a road infrastructure that has to be in working conditions. So drones can quickly cater to the demand. If there are any emergency supplies that have to be provided in case of any adverse weather conditions, drones will be able to help in the connectivity and access. So definitely very potentially do connection to very far-flung places that have had issues so far.
Right. Mrinal, how would a company like yours be looking at the employment opportunities that can be provided by the drone manufacturing industry as a result of the new PLI, that production linked incentive schemes? Is the Indian population ready for it? Are there any training processes already in place? What more information can you provide regarding this, or what is the need that the industry has as far as trained professionals are concerned? And would the government need would the industry need the government support towards this?
Right. If you look at the employment opportunities, or at least the projected opportunities, the statement from the ministry says that there are 10,000 jobs expected to be created in manufacturing, but there is another statement that says that the services industry, right, the drone operations, right, that is expected to create 5 lakh jobs, right? So this is what I want to highlight, saying that while manufacturing ecosystem is nascency, and I don't think there's definitely a skill gap, but in terms of, I think the largest gap would be investment there, in terms of, because you're talking about hardware electronics manufacturing and the overall ecosystem in India, not just for drones. I think investment is something that will unlock a lot of growth there. But in terms of the services market, and we're talking about, just say for example, a drone pilot, right? And if that is expected to be around 5 lakh jobs across multiple parts of the whole services economy, I think that is where opportunity lies. I think that's where our strength as in the Indian economy lies, where we have built software, we already have great ecosystem surrounding software and services, and drone piloting is not something that is high skilled anymore, right? And 6 years, 7 years ago, when we started, we had to hire engineers and who had some know-how of operating drones in this college or schools or something like that. Whereas now we're saying that anyone, right, it's essentially a basic operations on a mobile app, right? And that's what flying a drone is. And what we are seeing is that now we are skilling local people, right? If it's an agriculture, trying to skill the farmer. If it's a mining use case, you're trying to skill someone who's located very close to the mines, is a local guy. So that's what we are seeing happening, and I think that's something that can grow quickly, right? Given that the projects are talking of something growth happening in the next 2-3 years, I think we are primed for that to do that, as long as the demand now unlocks, people, as long as adoption of these drones increases. I think the industry is well positioned to serve this. I think investments, like I said, external investments coming from within Indian market, from external investors, I think that is a bottleneck, because if you look at it, most of the ecosystem are still startups here, right? There are no large players here, there are mostly startups, and I think that will definitely open up. We're already seeing a lot of movements happening since the policy was announced, and I think it's great news overall for the industry so far.
Right. Well, we'll be back with our discussion, but now here on In Focus on DD India, it's time for a short break. More up ahead. Stay with us and keep watching DD India.
नमस्ते इंडिया,
नमस्ते लैंड,
मरहबन इलल हिंद,
जरी इंडिया,
सलाम इंडिया,
नमस्ते इंडिया,
नमस्कार भारत,
मुई नहनु हुनूर
इंडिया,
माँ हिंदी हस्ती,
हिंदियानी,
सलाम हिंदुस्तान।
वी आर इंडिया।
Your window to rising India. India's voice on global platforms. Latest news from India and around the world. In-depth analysis of global headlines. Watch DD India in your country. Available for downlink in all Southeast Asian countries. STTV broadcast is available through the satellite GSAT 17 at 93.5 degrees east. HDTV broadcast is available through the satellite GSAT 10 at 83 degrees east. For technical details, scan here. Switch to DD India now.
Welcome back. You're watching In Focus, and we're talking about the key drone rules, after which comes the PLI scheme announced by the government on the 15th of September. What does it all mean for the entire drone manufacturing industry? We're discussing all that here on In Focus today. And coming to you, Mr. Rajan Luthra. The scheme, it says, covers a wide variety of drone components such as airframe, propulsion systems, engine and electric, power systems, batteries and associated components, as well as launch and recovery systems. On what basis would you say the selection of the components that the scheme would cover, what is the reasoning behind the selection of these components?
So far in India, majority of the drone components that you just mentioned, or which are there in the policy document also, all these components used to be imported, and majority of them used to come from China. With the demand in the sector opening up, the volumes for drones and the drone components will grow. And as the demand grows, and the PLI scheme will now specifically enable the manufacturing of these components to start happening in India domestically. We also are then, we need to realize that the platform which is now available for drone component manufacturers, as a MSME or a startup, you only need to have a turnover of 50 lakh rupees only for availing of this PLI scheme for drone components. The drone components pretty much cover anything and everything that goes into manufacturing of a drone, and the entire gamut of subsystems or assemblies are mentioned in the scheme itself, for the PLI for drone scheme. We believe this should encourage the substitution of imports with locally manufactured good quality components, which will be certified and then let's say utilized by the drone manufacturers in India, and potentially that will open up the opportunity for the exports of the components also. We also believe that the drone components or even the assemblies of the drones, even the larger drones, which are already started to happen in India with some of the global foreign larger players also looking at partnerships with Indian companies for setting up domestic manufacturing of even their sub-assemblies in India.
Right. Well, Mr. Mrinal, when we talk about the substitution of many of these components which are now imported from, say, China or other advanced nations, how much would the manufacturing of these components and the substitution depend on the investment that we are expecting? The PLI scheme that was announced on the 15th of September, how much would the ability to manufacture that happen because of that investment that we are expecting, or how much of that is already available to offer on our part?
Right. Like I mentioned, no manufacturer today manufactures everything by himself when it comes to drones. Right? Most of the electronics today are something that he gathers and then he assembles or sort. And that being available in the local market is definitely going to be a big boost. How much of it depends on investment? Largely, we're talking about largely electronic components here. Most of the mechanical parts and everything is something that most manufacturers are already comfortable manufacturing. When it comes to electronics, be it motors, batteries, and things like that, there is already an ecosystem evolving around that because of not just drones, because maybe of the whole EV ecosystem and things like that. So there's already a trickle down of that we are seeing in the market. So while we believe we are definitely behind by a few years, I think the momentum build-up is happening not just in drones but also in affiliated industries which are using similar components as such, which is also and drones as the industry is also benefiting from that. How much does investment matter to Angela specifically? I am sure it does matter. But having seen from where we've come from, right? 7 years ago we started. 2 months into this, there was a ban on flying drones, right? You could not operate drones unless you take permissions from multiple ministries. right? And from there, having and from there, from 2018, the first rule came. To now it's extremely liberalized. I'm sure the direction is right. The direction is very much right, and the interest is definitely a lot higher than what it was a few years ago. And as long as marketplace can prove themselves, and I'm sure there are a few winners already emerging clearly. I think that we can definitely take up the challenge, and we believe the market is nascent, not just in India. The market is nascent globally, which also presents its own opportunities to capture global markets, and a player, an Indian player who can capture that, I think is definitely going to attract investments inherently.
Right. Mr. Kandasamy, the total amount allocated according to the PLI scheme is about 120 crore rupees. This is already double of the annual turnover of the drone manufacturing industry at present. How do you react to this kind of confidence that has been reposed by the government in the industry, which is, as you mentioned in your first statement, is so much in its nascent stages?
Yeah. See, I think I'll begin with the point that this is a very tailored scheme, and they carved out in a very keeping the budding industry in the mind, and basically because of the market is little in a gray area, the regulation concerns, and also because the regulation is trying to think more about the security, national security interest, and now they have balance between the security as well as the commercial opportunity. And keeping that in mind, this is an emerging technology. It will grow now because the market is open now. So keeping back the fundamental things in the mind, they have kept this eligibility as a very simple, so that more people can participate. That's the whole idea. And also they will get this shared over 3 years. Whereas if you typically see other PLI schemes, that's for up to 5 years. Here we could able to course correct after 3 years, and we could able to tweak the policy if it's required. That is the vision of the government.
Right. And Swapnik, when we talk about the government agreeing to keep the PLI rate constant at 20% for all the 3 years, and exceptional treatment given only to the drone industry, would you say that how far can you say that as a manufacturer, how far can you say that the drone industry will be able to live up to its promise? What are the factors that are supporting you in the scheme in order to achieve these targets, in order to fulfill the potential that the government clearly believes that this industry has?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, there is actually stability, right? So in the sense of consistency in what is as the rules and regulations are available through PLI for us, like what are the things. So that will give a lot of confidence to investors and actual manufacturers itself, like to unlike vendors, vendors who we rely on for components, that these schemes are present. So that and with the demand that we see in the future because of the new rules, combined with both. So you need demand as well as supply to be consistent, right? So PLI scheme ensures that there should be enough supply through manufacturing for the drone demand that we see coming up in the future. And there is definitely a big spike in users that are already talking to us, different clients that are talking to us. And once we start working with different vendors, local vendors, to get the indigenized components, localization components, I think it will only go up, and that gives us confidence and to go forward and invest and put in time and effort into making the industry self-sufficient going forward.
Right. So Mrinal, would you agree with that the PLI rate, which is being kept constant at 20% for all 3 years, its exceptional treatment to the drone industry, a very good terms of interest? What exactly the industry needs at this point would greatly benefit in overcoming many challenges, mostly financial.
Right. I think not just the in terms of percentage, what in terms of the incentive allowed, but across everything, right from the qualification criteria to the outlay and the kind of things covered under the scheme. I think everything is just spot on. I think the scheme is come at the right time in the right form that it's supposed to have come out. The ultimate message here across whatever news is happening in the drone industry, be it the liberalization of the rules and be it the scheme to incentivize growth of ecosystem provider players here, is that the time of drones this year now. It's now and it's here. We believe that the greatest impact of all of this is in unlocking the demand. It's saying that now you be it agriculture companies, seed companies, construction companies, right, logistics companies. So now they've given a free hand to go and now experiment, adopt drones, see how much value that can bring in, because as long as the demand grows, given that now the scheme is in the right form in the PLI scheme, and also the rules now, it says that you need not take additional permissions. As long as it's a green zone, you can go and fly, and so given that this is what it is, I think it's a great step. And the drone industry, the biggest challenge is regulations, right? The technology has always been there. The use cases have been proved, not in India but also elsewhere, right? And everywhere across the globe, what we see as challenges, the security and privacy angle which drones inherently have as a flying camera and in the sky, right? And given that the now regulator has now completely done a 180 here, they're now saying that we are going to incentivize this, we are going to utilize this. I think that is the biggest message. The essence of this is the biggest benefit the industry can get, more than just the details and numbers here, which are also good from our point of view.
Right. We'll be coming back to our discussion on the production-linked incentive scheme that the Indian government announced on the 15th of September, a follow-through of the Niki Drone Rules 2021 that were announced just a month back in August. But here, it's time for a short break now. We'll be right back with more. Stay tuned and keep watching In Focus.
As the day unfolds and news and events take shape, we get you complete coverage of every news breaking in, tracking new developments as they happen. Midday Prime English, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching In Focus and we're discussing the production-linked incentive scheme for drones announced by the Government of India on the 15th of September. That's just a few days back, and we come to our guests now. We have a distinguished panel of guests on the show to discuss the various issues involved. Coming to you, Mr. Rajan Luthra, it says here that the minimum value addition norm has been fixed at 40% of net sales for drones and drone components instead of 50%. Another exceptional treatment. The PLI for a manufacturer will be capped at 25% of total annual outlay. When we look at the figure of 40% of net sales for drones and drone components, how would you say the government arrived at this figure? And as somebody who's involved in policy making, what are the what are your goals here?
I think we first need to realize that why is the drone sector being given such an important, prominent, let's say, visibility, and also, let's say, some very exceptional benefits with the scheme that has been announced. I think it's largely because of the transformative nature of the technology. I've mentioned this before, drones have been compared with the impact of internet or with the impact of GPS. And already in the last, during the pandemic itself, the capability of drones has been leveraged during the pandemic response, in the locust, let's say, outbreak that was controlled using drones in delivering vaccine trials. And also, I think more than anything else, the Sumitra scheme, which has given more than 800,000 village household property cards of their property using the aerial mapping that was conducted using drones. I think many of these startups, more than 200 startups at last count in India, are actually driving most of the innovation in this sector, along with the engineering and science colleges. Because of the potential for making India the drone hub of the world, that was the vision that we had set out as an industry, as well as based on the directions and guidance from the government. And I think we are now well on our path to making India the drone hub of the world. The 40% number, if we were to specifically talk about, I think it also shows that exceptional treatment is being given to this sector, so that even the smaller companies, even the smaller players can benefit from that. And it's something which was done only for the drone sector, apart from all the other PLI schemes that have been announced, whether it's the high percentage of the incentive that has been given, or the, let's say, the low values or thresholds that have been kept, and also the percentage that is being looked at in terms of the qualification percentage. I think these are basically done so that encouragement can be given to a wider participation of all stakeholders.
Right. And when we talk about the agriculture sector in rural areas, for example, irrigation monitoring, Mr. Kandasamy, drones including hyperspectral, thermal or multispectral sensors, they recognize areas, we believe, that are too dry. How much is the Indian drone manufacturing sector, how far has it been involved in this process, and how would your company be looking towards exploring the kind of opportunities, the potential that is available in this sector, in the agriculture sector, in the irrigation monitoring sector in particular?
Considering this technology, I think that is for the last 5-6 years people are adopting this technology. The reason is the drone can provide its measures at a scale actually. Imagine a farmer is having a very wide piece of land. If he try to work in his field to find out where he need to concentrate, where he need to do a precision farming, it is going to take a hell lot of time. And the idea of the drone is it gives the sky aerial view, and it covers a reasonably large area in a single flight, and it can give a very sense information in a very seamless way to the end user. And currently, it is we've been able to see there are a lot of farmer itself started doing the spraying and all those things. However, the sensors, this involves a little amount of the process, converting the output of the camera into a certain data library. It takes some effort for the farmers or any people who are interested in this. And there are a lot of companies who is building the web-based software and the phone-based smartphone app, which will in coming days simplify the farmer directly come to this, and in fact he'll be able to do it. When it comes to the hyperspectral or multispectral sensors, still as a sensor, we are buying it out. We are actually fitting it on drone. Now, few companies, especially after the PLI scheme announcement, a few companies are focusing on the sensor system also. Because as we discussed on the component level, a sensor, subsystem, including the software, those are the most which is available in the PLI scheme. Now we can actually expect shortly to make in India hyperspectral, multispectral sensors, and this will contribute for a mass adaptation. That's what.
Right, Swapnik, when we talk about agriculture, again there is the sector of the aspect of crop health monitoring and surveillance. And would a company like yours be willing, would it like to approach the potential and opportunities available in this sector, and how ready are you for that, and what difference does this PLI scheme make to the kind of opportunities that are there, to be able to take advantage of those opportunities?
Yeah, so directly we don't work in agriculture for purpose of crop health monitoring. We do focus a lot more on drone delivery. But I have gotten a lot of requests, and a lot of people have tried to speak to me now to understand what are the offerings that we can provide. But once but we have been able to refer to other people who are able to provide the specific service that they need. But in the future, if there is any requirement, for example, fertilizers to be supplied to the farmer, it has to be delivered to them from a warehouse, and they need a requirement along those lines for their like seeds, fertilizers and all, we will be more than happy to set up drone tunnel flight corridors, set up hubs in different areas where they need it, and we will be more than happy to cater to that perspective. And I think in the future we'll be partnering with producers of fertilizers and seed, and making sure that is easily available to the farmers at the farm itself.
Right. Well, we've come to the end of the show. We just have very few minutes left, and we'd like Mr. Luthra to sum up the entire discussion when we talk about the kind of opportunities that the government is offering, the kind of benefits and the potential that the drone manufacturing industry has. There's a clear message here, inviting young people, inviting new fresh minds to participate in this entire process of growth and development towards Atmanirbharta, self-reliance in drone manufacturing. It's an entirely new sector, a nascent industry. Your final words.
Thank you. I think that is absolutely spot on, as I mentioned previously. On 12th of this month, Mr. Jyotiraditya Scindia, Minister for Civil Aviation, launched the Medicine from the Sky project with the Telangana government. And at that launch, he had three founders of startup companies along with him on the stage. And I think even the three founders we have on the panel today, I think that just represents the depth of the startup ecosystem in the drone sector. A lot of innovation is also happening around, let's say, at the college level itself. Large number of engineering colleges and science colleges are having drone-related programs which are happening as we speak. And I think going forward, not only in the urban environment, even in the rural areas, many of the African countries have actually seen a lot of rural youth being excited and attracted towards this sector, and start to leverage the power of the drones in a democratized manner. I think that is a real opportunity. These are the real heroes that we are talking about, and fundamentally I think that impact, or the societal impact of drones that the Prime Minister himself believes in, I think that is why this sector is being given such a great importance despite the small size and nascent stage of the sector.
Well, many thanks to you, Mr. Rajan Luthra, Mrinal Pai, also Swapnik, and also Mr. Kandasamy for joining us here on the show on In Focus on DD India, an in-depth discussion on drones, the PLI scheme that makes drone drone manufacturing much easier and more profitable with massive targets ahead. We heard from manufacturers themselves as well as from the chair for FICCI Drones, Mr. Rajan Luthra. That's all we have for you in this edition of In Focus. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.